Thank you, everybody, for coming to the Aaron Torres Podcast YouTube page. If you could do me a quick favor, see that little subscribe button at the bottom of your screen? Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Really does help our channel grow, our audience grow, and I really do appreciate it more than you know. So click that subscribe button. Appreciate your support. Now, here's the video that you came here for. But here's the bottom line. Final score in the game in Atlanta, second game. By the way, if you are a Michigan State or Kansas fan, I promise we will get to that later on in the show. But if you are a Kentucky fan, if you are a Duke fan, you got yourself a classic on Tuesday night. Final score 77-72. Kentucky gets the first big win of the Mark Pope era. And not only was it a big win for the Mark Pope era, here's the truth. It was a marquee win. It proved everything that everybody has said all offseason long. The Kentucky people that follow this team night in, night out, day in, day out, that follow the portal, that follow recruiting, that follow putting together roster construction, said, we got ourselves a darn good team. Everybody else in the media besides me says, oh my goodness, this team, are they a fringe top 25 team? I never bought it. It was on full display on Tuesday night, so let's go ahead and dive in. First of all, listen, I'm going to do something. People think I'm a Duke homer or I'm a Kentucky homer. I hate Duke, whatever. Listen, Duke was awesome early, and we're going to get to the Duke side of things because I actually came away very impressed with certain elements of that team and certain elements of what they are able to do. But listen, we know what happened in the previous era of Kentucky. We don't need to relitigate it. But the one thing that was clear with this coaching staff, they wanted to get older. They wanted to get experience. They wanted to get dudes that have been on the biggest stages in college basketball. Well, guess what happened? Tuesday night in Atlanta, it was so obvious the difference between these two teams. It wasn't talent. It wasn't NBA players. It was exactly what we said in the preview on Monday night. If you missed the preview, you can go back and listen. What did I say? I said, you look at Kentucky. Listen, nobody doubts how good Cooper Flagg is, how good Con Knipple is, how good Kaman Malawach is. But veteran guys late in games in college basketball, I trust them. And by the way, I'm going to say something right now so you don't come back at me later. Yes, I put out a tweet early in the second half talking about how great the Duke freshmen were. But late in the game, think about how every single time that Kentucky needed a play late in the game down the stretch, how either team needed a play late in the game down the stretch, it was Kentucky and it was those veterans who came through time and time again. Just think about the end of the game. By the way, drop your comments in the comment section. If we have any super chats, we will prioritize those. We'll get to those momentarily. But to me, what this game was, especially late in the game, it was boys versus men. You could go on and on and on. I can't even remember all the plays. I'm going to try to remember them off the top of my head right now, okay? First of all, think about this. Think about the final play. Think about the final play. Mark Pope throws it deep. Not Mark Pope, but he drew up a play, throws it deep to Lamont Butler. Lamont Butler misses the foul shot. What happens? Otega Owe grabs the rebound to get the foul to put the final points on the board to seal a 5-point win. Before that, the Lamont Butler tipped the ball off of Cooper Flagg out of bounds. That's the best defensive guard in college basketball, America. Get to know the name. If you don't know him, we've had him on this show. He's from Riverside, California. He's been a dog since he stepped on a college basketball court. Most people just don't watch San Diego State basketball, unfortunately, because this has always been who Lamont is. Big play, late in the game, late in when it's crunch time. Ball goes off of Cooper Flagg, and next thing you know, of course, Kentucky gets the ball back, and Kentucky seals the win. By the way, before that, there was a big steal by Otega Owe. Give Otega Owe credit. He's a veteran. He's a guy that transparently, I'll be honest, he was one of the guys that when I talked about this Kentucky transfer portal class, this was not one of the guys that I thought was one of their best signees, but made several plays late, had that steal late when it mattered most. Goodness gracious, what a play. And then, oh, by the way, earlier, remember, Lamont Butler, prior to the previous play where I take back, I'm reacting in real time, so forgive me. but I'm pretty sure the last Cooper Flag play, I don't know if it was Lamont Butler, but the play before it, when he tipped the ball off of Cooper Flag, they went to the review panel, they overturned the call. That was Lamont Butler. And so you go on and on down the list. Think about all the big plays, the Andrew Carr and one, the pass that led to a layup late in the game. I can name 10 plays late. Kentucky made every single one late in the game, and it resulted in the victory that they got. And so to me, what this game is about is veteran resilience, older players who have been on this stage before that made plays when it mattered. And we talked about this in the preview. Listen, anytime I say anything good about, Torres is a Kentucky homer, no. I call it straight down the middle. I call it as it is. And I said, I think the veterans are going to make plays late, but it comes back to what I've said since April, since May, when this roster came together. I never bought this notion. By the way, let's clip this off. We'll put it on social tomorrow, because at the end of the day, I never bought this notion. Oh my goodness, Kentucky, they're a fringe top 25 team. I saw people in the media, people that are respected, saying, is this a top 25 team coming into the season? I was like, are you guys out of your minds? Are you out of your freaking minds? Go back and look at this roster that was put together. By the way, I remember sending a tweet from an airport in Mexico. I was on vacation when Jackson Robinson pulled out of the draft and announced he was going to Kentucky. I said, look at this roster. You got 4 guys who averaged double figures last year in the Power 5. Kirk Risa, Otega Owe, Jackson Robinson, and who's the fourth one? I can't even remember. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Andrew Carr was the fourth one. You have 4 players who averaged double figures in the Power 5. You have Kobe Brea, the best statistical three-point shooter last year. You have Amari Williams, best defensive player. You got Lamont Butler, best defensive guard. The idea that this was a fringe top 25 team was the dumbest narrative going, and so Kentucky gets the win. And here's the crazy part. I don't think Kentucky played anywhere close to their best game that they could possibly play. That's the great part. That's where you got to feel good if you're a Kentucky fan. Because think about this. Think about Kentucky after this game, and let's really do a deep dive on how this team played. Struggled early. How about this? They finished 10 of 25 shooting from 3. That's really good, but they started 5 of 5. So let's remember, let's discuss, let's talk about it, let's think about it. They started 5 of 5. They finished 10 of 25. I'm not great at math, but that means they were 5 of their final 20 from 3. So the thing that they do best, they didn't even do that well for the final, 32 minutes of the game. And they still find a way to get the win. And to me, what this is about is a couple things. Mark Pope was always the right guy. And I know what everybody's going to say. Torres, you didn't like the hire. No. I didn't like the process to get the hire. But go back and find the tweets. I said the moment that the hire got made, I said, give him till the press conference. You're going to love him. But what I love about Mark Pope, and what I've always loved about Mark Pope, he put together a roster where the pieces fit, where everybody plays together, where everybody is kind of rowing in the same direction. And you could see that on Tuesday night against Duke. And so when I look at this roster, listen, I don't know what ultimately is going to be this season, but I've said it since the first preseason game, and everybody wants to criticize. Oh, they're playing. Who are they playing? Kentucky Wesleyan. Oh, you Torres, you can't make a judgment based off Kentucky Wesleyan. Why not? Why not? If you watch the Kentucky Wesleyan game, if you watch Minnesota State, if you watch Bucknell, if you watched Wright State, the season opener, you could see that this team was so much better than people were giving them credit for. 3-point shooting, spacing, ball movement, size, athleticism. By the way, I think it's a total positive. Brandon Garrison off the bench, not even a guy you were expecting to contribute in a big way, was one of your best players. So when I look at this game, what I see, especially from the Kentucky perspective, is a team and a program and a group that the sum is greater than the parts, but more importantly, the parts fit, and it was the veterans late in the game that made all the plays. As I said, by the way, if I tripped up on who had what out of bounds, I'm sorry, I'm reacting in real time. But Cooper Flag forced turnover out of bounds. Lamont Butler tips it off of Cooper Flag. It gets overturned. Deep pass. Lamont Butler catches it, makes the free throw. Otega Oweh gets the rebound off of the missed free throw to seal the win. Otega Oweh has another steal. Andrew Carr and one. Let's just talk it out. Every single big play late in the game goes to Kentucky. And so Kentucky gets the win. And goodness gracious, do you got to feel good if you're a Wildcat? Listen, there's another day, there's another time to really figure out. But I'm telling you, man, this team, and I've said it from the day the top 25 came out. I said, if this, remember, they were the 23rd team, and I believe in the AP top 25, and they were picked to finish, what, 8th or 9th in the SEC? And I said, if there are 8 teams better in the SEC, if there are 22 teams better in college basketball, yeah, this is the best season in the history of college basketball. I never believed that you could criticize whatever, but listen, this is why this YouTube channel has grown. This is why the podcast has grown, because I keep it real. I keep it honest. Kentucky, they've always been better than people realize, and they deserve credit. By the way, while we're here, you want to do your boy Torres a quick favor? You want to support the show? Get your Hope and Pope t-shirt. I'm the original OG Hope and Pope. You want to support the show, go to aarontorresonline.com/merchandise. aarontorresonline.com/merchandise. Get your Hope and Pope shirts. We had these shirts out the day that Pope got hired, the day that he had that first press conference in April. Go to aarontorresonline.com/merchandise. Get your Hope and Pope shirts. Really quick